So today we are going to go through the Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program online postgraduate scholarship. And I'm going to be your presenter today. I'll be later on joined by two scholars who are online scholars and students at the University of Edinburgh, of course. These are Ezekiel Macharia and Susan Wambocha, who are both studying for online postgraduate diploma as well as an online master's. So for today's session, I will briefly introduce you to the University of Edinburgh. I will also briefly introduce you to the Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program here at the University of Edinburgh, and then walk you through what you can expect from an online postgraduate scholarship, talk you through what we are looking for in applicants during the eligibility. Just walk you through the eligibility criteria, and you'll have a chance to hear from Susan and Ezekiel, who will share the experiences as students at the University of Edinburgh and also the experiences as scholars with Mastercard Foundation. And finally, I will take you through the application process. The application for the scholarship is currently open, and I'll just be guiding you through what to do and where you can get the application link, and all that. So to start, maybe it's important for me to mention where the University of Edinburgh is at. So the University of Edinburgh is located in the city of Edinburgh, which is the capital city of Scotland in the UK, United Kingdom. A few people are often confused about the difference between Scotland and the UK. So I'll just start by reinstating that the UK is made up of Scotland, England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. So we are in Scotland and we are in Edinburgh, and which is the capital city of Scotland. We are a university that provides on-campus studies for bachelor's degrees, for master's degrees, PhD, and master's in such as well. But we also provide online degrees. And so for today specifically, I'll be taking you through the online degree component by the university. And then I'll also walk you through the few programs that are currently on the Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program list. So as many of you are aware, we are in a space where many institutions and many governments, for example, are giving a priority to online learning. And even before COVID-19, the University of Edinburgh had this online learning provision. But after COVID-19, you could have noticed that a few more institutions have embraced the idea of online learning. So I could say that it is an area that is growing quite fast globally. And because of that, learning habits are also evolving, and more learners are seeking, faster and even more flexible training, either for even bachelor's degrees or master's and postgraduate degrees. And currently, there's also a demand from more young people that I've interacted demand for online degrees because they possibly have their own commitments, which I do believe you also have your other commitments that you want to balance with online learning, for example. I have met young people who are currently working and they're enjoying the work that they're doing. And so they don't want to move countries to study in a different area. They rather want to, find an online degree that they can study alongside as they work. I've met people who are parents, for example, and they still want to be very present with their families, even while studying for an online degree. So, and at the same time, I would say the demand for shorter qualifications is likely to grow in the future as well. So gladly, this is an area that a lot of people are embracing, and and the University of Edinburgh, we are investing in this particular area. So as of today, we have 4,000 students who are studying for online masters at the university. And we have about 80 plus online degrees. And since we started offering online degree components, about more than 10,000 students have graduated from our university. Every other year, we also have many students from the African continent who are studying online degrees with us. So about 1,000, about no, not 1,000, about 500 students from Africa will be studying online degrees every other year with us. And so besides the online masters and the online postgraduate diplomas and other certifications, we also have free short online courses which are taken by learners all over the world. But I'm not going to delve into this today and quite focus on the online postgraduate degrees that we are currently offering. So the online degrees are usually taken, we have noticed they're usually taken by early to mid career professionals who have, as I mentioned before, who are keen to study part-time while working. So currently our online master's degrees run from either three years to 6 years. Our online diploma programs run from, can be studied between 2 to 4 years. We also have other offerings that can be studied over time. So these degrees are designed in a way to maximize learning while complementing the work one is doing. And presently, our global reach is 60% of students studying outside the UK. So 6% of students studying our online degrees are usually outside the UK. So at the University of Edinburgh, we have 3 colleges. College of Science and Engineering, which comprises 15% of the online degrees we have. We have College of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences, and they have 26% of the online degrees offerings. And our biggest college that delivers online degrees is the College of Medicine and Veterinary Medicine. So College of Science and Engineering has 5 programs presently. The College of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences has 2 programs, and College of Medicine and Veterinary Medicine has 48 programs. So when it comes to Mastercard Foundation, we draw our programs from these 3 different colleges. And just if you're curious about the characteristics of online students, so currently, 60% of all our online students would be female, and 73% are usually between ages of 25 to 44 years, and 99% obviously are studying part-time for these online degrees. And now, just back to Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program. Before I speak about online degrees, I'll give you a bit of background about the partnership with the University of Edinburgh. So Mastercard Foundation has been in partnership with the University of Edinburgh for 10 years now. So the first partnership began in 2016 up until 2022. And in those 7 years, about 200 students went through the University of Edinburgh, studying for various undergraduate and postgraduate degrees. In 2023, the partnership was renewed, and between now and 2030, we're going to have 850 students. So we've already had students study with us in 2023 and 2024. And currently we're recruiting students for the 2026-2027 year. And this is ongoing until 2030. And so between 2023 and 2030, we're hoping to have empowered 850 students to study with us. One thing to note though, this current partnership is focused on empowering young people with knowledge and skills in the area of climate change and sustainability. So you will notice that our current degrees, the current degrees that the scholarship is supporting are in one way or another, you know, related to equipping students with knowledge to address climate change and sustainability. So these are the current programs on the scholarship. And as you can see, for example, some programs have master's route only, others have master's or diploma, and this is because we have two routes for the scholarship. So one can either apply for an online master's, which is studied part-time over 3 years, or an online postgraduate diploma. So one might be asking, what's the difference between online master's and online postgraduate diploma? So the master's, first of all, is studied over 3 years, and the diploma is part-time over 2 years. The master's degree has a dissertation component, whereas the postgraduate diploma doesn't have the dissertation component. It's just 2 years, 2 years of coursework. But the postgraduate diploma is usually aimed at individuals who are thinking about advancing their professional knowledge in an area, for example. So for our scholarship, if you have a master's already, you could apply for a postgraduate diploma. That's because maybe you're seeking just knowledge in a different route, or rather you want to expound on the area that you're working on already. But if you're applying for an online master's, you cannot have a master's already. You cannot have a master's. You'll just need a bachelor's degree. So for both of these routes, baseline is you need to have a bachelor's degree. If you have a bachelor's degree, you can apply for a master's or you can apply for a postgraduate diploma. But let's say currently you already hold a master's degree from a different institution, you can apply for the postgraduate diploma only. And the scholarships are available for these 11 programs only. We do not provide scholarships for any program outside of these. And this is specific to the academic year 2026-2027. So this is for the current application window. So these programs will apply to those joining us in September 2026. As you can see, a lot of them are quite straightforward when it comes to relation to climate change and sustainability. For example, climate change management, that is very direct. Another program like global food security and nutrition that has a very direct relation to climate change and sustainability. If you look at a program like international development, you might wonder what is the correlation? Well, we'll look at it from the perspective of, as an international development student, you're possibly going to take some courses that will help you understand how governments formulate policies, how INGOs formulate policies, and some of these policies could be influencing climate change. Other programs like Global Challenges, they'll also have the climate change component. Social justice and community action also have a climate component. However, there's a detailed description on how all of these programs relate to climate change on our website. And you can just Google Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program, University of Edinburgh, and you will get our website. Or at the same time, I'll be sharing with you the website link later on. Another thing to mention is one can only apply for either a master's or a diploma, and you can only apply to one program only. So it could either be digital education master's or one health diploma only. You can't apply to two programs or two routes. And we say this because as a postgraduate applicant, we believe that you've taken your time to really reflect on what you want for your career, what you want for your future. And so by the time you are sitting down to decide on a choice, you will have reflected on it quite deeply. So in terms of what the scholarship covers, when it comes to online scholarship, the scholarship caters for the tuition fees. So whether you're studying 2 years or 3 years, all the tuition fees is going to be paid by the scholarship. We also provide a connectivity stipend. So this is amount towards an amount given to students towards either paying for Wi-Fi in their homes or just buying data that will enable them to access their studies. We also provide academic stipend, which is given annually. Importantly, we have in-person and online workshops. So in-person meetings usually happen when team members either visit a country, for example, Kenya, then online scholars in Kenya will gather together. We also have online workshops, and these are quite frequent, and we encourage students to join these ones because they'll be touching on different subjects. We also offer one in-person event that gathers all of the online scholars, and this is usually through our climate leadership program. So in the last couple of years, online scholars have been meeting in South Africa in January and June to attend the Climate Enterprise program. We have social groups through WhatsApps. And these social groups can either cut across your year of study or your subject of study, but they're just really good avenues for an online student to feel like they're part of a group. Um, Besides that, as a Mastercard Foundation Scholar, you can also expect to have access to special events and also special schemes, like, for example, the Innovation Fund, the Enterprise Fund. So for students who have an interest in entrepreneurship, for example, we do work quite closely with enterprise and innovation team at the University of Edinburgh to support students' entrepreneurial journeys. We do have an online coordinator who supports students throughout their learning and time with us. And we also have online coaching and one-to-one academic support where needed. So our online scholarship is aimed at recent graduates of undergraduate degree programs. When I say recent, well, it's not specifically recent to last year, but if you finish your undergrad 3, 4, 5, 7 years ago, you're still eligible to apply for our online scholarship. It's aimed at those who are seeking to complement their professional lives with a top-class academic qualification. So at the University of Edinburgh, we're a top institution. We are currently ranked 34 in the world, according to the QS World Rankings. So you can tell that we are quite a renowned institution. So earning any professional qualification with us will be quite a good addition uh, to you. And importantly, it's aimed at individuals who have moved back to the continent after studying and want to continue to study while also working. So just to emphasize on this, so that expound on it a bit more, let's say you have been studying for your undergrad in the USA and you have moved back to your country in Africa. So we will be targeting these particular individuals. So if you finish your studies in the US and decided to stay in the US, for example, you will not be eligible to apply to us. And importantly, we do encourage applications from young women, young people from refugee and displaced backgrounds, as well as young people with disabilities, although this scholarship is quite open to all. And just when I mention young people, I am referencing people who are 35 years and below. So I am gonna talk you through the benefits of studying online, and after this, you will have a chance to listen to two of our current students. That is Ezekiel and Susan, who are currently in the meeting. So I have received questions before. If I'm studying online, is that the same as studying on campus? Will my certificate be written online student? That is not the case. Online qualifications, whether master's or postgraduate diploma, are equivalent to on-campus qualifications. And the degree certificate will just read a master's in One Health or postgraduate diploma in social justice and community action. It's not going to be written online learning. And importantly, online learners receive the same attention from lecturers and tutors, just as and the rigor of the academia and assessment is quite the same as on campus. So it's quite as busy and the attention is quite the same. It's quite the same. So, but unlike on-campus study, online degrees allow you to pursue a career at the same time while you're studying, or just pursue your other commitments while getting an education. As an online student, you will also have access to other resources that on-campus students have to have, like, for example, the library, IT support. You have resources, other resources like counseling or career services. As a Mastercard Foundation Scholar, you will have a chance to speak to a transitions coordinator who talks you through what transitioning from masters to either your job, or if you've already been working, what a promotion looks like with a master's. So we just walk you through what transitions looks like for you. So I have stated these benefits of studying online, but I do believe Ezekiel and Susan could expound more on what the experience has been like being scholars with the Mastercard Foundation and also being students at the University of Edinburgh. So I'm just going to check Ezekiel. Are you happy to go first? I think you can speak now, Ezekiel. You're welcome.
Yes, and thank you, Faidi. Good day, everyone. Thank you, Faidi, for the opportunity to join you as you're doing your presentation to prospective applicants for the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship at the University of Edinburgh. As you mentioned, my name is Ezekiel Macharia from Kenya, currently studying Masters in One Health at the University of Edinburgh. I'm here and very excited to just walk you through my journey from application, how I started my application, to even current experience at the university, where I'm studying online and also doing or continuing with my career. Just to mention is that I can't give any excuse as to why I can't carry on with my studies, because my full tuition is paid for, including getting some connectivity stipend, where I'm able to ensure that facilitate me to ensure that at least I'm not failing to join classes with any excuse. The stipend allow me to always be available to attend classes at the university. The program is very comprehensive because other than paying for our full tuition fees and including other stipend that we get here and there, we also get the academic and psychosocial support through the student advisors. You can imagine the university gives us a student advisor who is fully dedicated to ensure that your study are progressing on very well. Additional to that, the program as well, the Mastercard Foundation program at the University of Edinburgh also gives us a dedicated online coordinator who is also able to follow with us to just ensure that our studies as well as carrying or we are progressing on very well. We also get additional support. Personally, last year I attended summer school in South Africa, and to coming months in December, I will also be, or we applied for certain funds and will also be participating in another summer school here in Kenya at a place called Naivasha, where we are going to collaborate with research experts from the IRI, that is International Livestock Center here in Kenya. Additionally, as Faithy has mentioned, we also get a lot of support into entrepreneurship and capacity building, where we get opportunity to be trained from ideation to pitching. Even where we pitch and win award. I remember in July there is one that I did. I never managed to get like to the final awards, but at least I got to the interview stage, and it was, even getting to the interview stage, it was worthwhile and with a lot of learning. Additionally, we also get community-based project grants where you get some stipend and you're able to do a community-based project, maybe be it environmental focus or supporting vulnerable people in the community, and you're able to account for that, also teaching you a bit of accountability and response, being able to be a responsible person. The program also provides us with an alumni network where we are able to engage. Might you be successful or will you be successful in this application? Then you're going to join a community of scholars who have benefited from the program. Just to carry on, the experience as an online student has been very flexible and enriching at the University of Edinburgh. I mentioned about how they give us a dedicated staff to ensure that you're progressing on with your studies. And in addition to that, they have a very interactive digital learning platform called Learn, where you are able to achieve your studies, and they deliver these through synchronous or asynchronous. Synchronous is where you have a lecturer and you're able to attend the session live. Asynchronous is where you are able to, listen to the recording and you're able maybe to email the professor or the lecturer to just get maybe some clarification, if any. The learning system also gives us a discussion board where we are able to discuss. Maybe the professor will post a question and we are all able to collaboratively discuss, and even that interactive where you're even able to ask a question. And one thing I can assure you is that the staff are very responsive and professional, and the administrative system are very well structured. Having mentioned that, one thing that I found very unique with the university is that the mode of exam, you'd imagine that you don't have like paper, you're not confined in a certain room with a paper with some question, and then you're expected after 2 hours to hand over. So the mode of delivery for assessment is where you're given a topic and you're told to discuss. It can be through the discussion boards where you're able to post your thoughts, your reflective thoughts, and then your peer review are going to do the review. And even in some instances, it is your peer who are marking it. Then there is also some other modes like group work, online assessment, and written assessment. Written assessment will be a case where you're given, for example, a book in regards to a certain topic, then you're told to analyze the merits, the areas which you'd suggest edits and things like that. And I would say it's very, very interactive. And I would dare say that the mode of assessment is even more and far better than a confined classroom with a set of questions that you're supposed to answer and hand over. Then finally, I would give some tips on how I aced my application journey. And to all the prospective applicants, I would advise you to prepare and gather your documents early, be it the degree certificates, the transcripts, the recommendation letter that you're supposed to have, and even passports. Sometimes some of these identification documents are very critical, and they will show you or portray you to the recruiting team that you're very serious. So it's not mandatory, but some of these documents during my application, I ensure they are ready, and upon request and where applicable, I'm able to produce them promptly. Then tell your story, highlight community engagement and measurable impact that you have had before. The program is mainly looking for people who are able to be change makers. Show your resilience, discuss not only challenges, but they are more importantly encouraged by how you overcame these challenges and the lessons that you learned from the same. Then one thing I would advise you is to ensure that you align the course that you want to do. Ensure whatever that you want to do, you are able to show how it relates to what you studied maybe for your undergraduate, and how it relates to your engagement that you're currently doing, be it the work or your other volunteer activities that you do. Ensure there is correlation to that, and also correlation, or there is a relationship between that and your short-term goals and your long-term goals. You're able to depict these in your application. Again, be able to connect these to the sustainable development goals that have been the 17 of them, but now you have to choose which one are more aligned to what you're studying and which one are more aligned to the University of Edinburgh and the Mastercard Foundation. For example, the SDG 4, 5, 8, and 10. But don't limit yourself. Just ensure you are very you're able to just sell yourself or tell your story. Then research on the Mastercard Foundation program and the University of Edinburgh initiative that aligns again to maybe what you're studying. These are some of the things that I did, and I was able to present myself very well in regards to making sure my application stands out. Because as Faith maybe is going to mention, they receive overwhelming application. So you have to stand out and like just above the cut. Yeah. So that is it. But maybe as I end it, is just to mention that definitely a journey of 1,000 miles start with one step. Believe in your story. The Mastercard Foundation, I believe, values potential over perfection. You may not be perfect, but if you feel you have that impact, I say they are looking for those impacts that you have made, and they are ready to produce change makers. So we believe you have what it takes. Then start the journey of 1,000 miles. And there is one quote I always want to mention is that we can't make the future ready for the youths, but we can model the youths ready for the future. It's up to you to take up the challenge, take that bold move and start your application. I'll be available in case of any question, but until then, back to you, Faith.
Thank you very much, Ezekiel, for sharing that. Susan, are you able to tell us about your experience?
Yes, Faith, happy to do that. Can you hear me, see me?
Yes.
Great. So hello, everyone. My name is Susan Wabocha. I'm from Kenya, and I study Masters in Global Food Security and Nutrition at the University of Edinburgh. I am a final year Mastercard Foundation Scholar. I'm happy to share my experiences both in the study program and in the application process. And I'll begin, I think, with the study program. Being in the development world, I work for an international development organization, and I've been in the development space for 7 years now, and I applied for this scholarship when I was just 5 years in experience. So in terms of the content, I'm going to avoid repeating what Ezekiel has said. So I'm going to be very specific on targeted points. I'll speak about the content. In terms of the content has been very relevant to my career in international development and very intellectually stimulating. One of the things that stood out from what Ezekiel picked up on is the way the University of Edinburgh examines. So it's usually assessments, and these assessments test and prepare for critical and analytical thinking. And I think that has been one of the greatest things I'll take home, other than the content, which is on climate change, sustainability, and for my case, food and agriculture. So this analytical and creative thinking is something that you'll take forever. And I think that is the one thing that stood out for me. It stood out for me so much so that I decided to upgrade from a postgraduate diploma, where Mastercard left me, to now an MSc program, which is self-pay, because I was able to be promoted. I applied these critical and analytical thinking at work, and I got a promotion, which is just to show you how much this opportunity is good for you. It's direct translation into your life and your career. Another thing that stands out for me is the self-paced study. So what happens is that every week content is posted and you read at your own pace. This allows me to balance academic and work commitments. So in Africa, career growth, career development, life commitments, and academic commitments are very hard to balance because of everything else we have to go through. But I feel that the University of Edinburgh, through that self-paced program, has allowed for that. Then finally, what has stood out for me has been the support, the faculty at the University of Edinburgh, the Mastercard Foundation scholarship staff, and I believe Ezekiel mentioned a lot about that, but also the online community. We have been very supportive to each other. And that's because of the investment that Mastercard Foundation has had on us connecting. Faithy mentioned as much as we're online scholars, and we're studying at different times, we actually meet in person. So we met in person in the climate school in South Africa. And even before, Ezekiel, who studied a different course, I had met him when Faithy was in Kenya. So that actually helps, because studying online can be very lonely, can be very frustrating, especially when you're overwhelmed. I'm not going to say it's easy. The content is as detailed as the online campus content. But when you have that network of your fellow scholars and you have Mastercard Foundation and also the faculty who are very supportive, it does help. I think those are the three things. So relevant content, create a critical and creative thinking that we might not have been exposed to, especially those who had their bachelors in Africa. A self-paced study that is going to allow you to do other things, including have families if you're able to balance them all. And then finally, the level of support. The University of Edinburgh goes over and above to even provide support for mental health, for careers. So there's so much, and you wouldn't feel like you're alone in this journey. In terms of application, to avoid repeating what Ezekiel said, it has to be, for me, what worked for me is that it was a reflective journey. You have to be as authentic as possible. I showed up as myself. I owned my story. Like I mentioned, I was already working. Even if you're not working, own your story, but have a very clear vision. This is what I want for myself. This is what I want for my career. This is what I can do for myself and what I can do for Africa. So in my case, I referenced my international development career particularly in agricultural development. And I went on to talk about what I can do with that level of opportunity. I felt that the international opportunity would open up my horizons into a global perspectives, which it has. I also felt that the scholarship would give me opportunity to interact with other people, other young Africans who are interested in the same things, and together we would actually think of an Africa that is food secure, that is shielded from all the climate change issues. And that is what I wrote about. I wrote about it as authentically as I can. So before you apply, I'd encourage you to sit down, have a clear vision, be as authentic as possible, write from your heart, communicate your passion, because that is what they want to see. Like Ezekiel mentioned, they care about passion, they care about who you are, and let it show up in the text. Don't write essays for the sake of essays. I applied at a time when ChatGPT was coming up, and one of the things I said, I will not use AI, because I think Faithy can detect AI written material. So just write from your heart, show up as yourself, and you'll be fine. Then in terms of demonstrating impact, Ezekiel mentioned these. Show how this course will not only develop you, but your community. If you haven't had the experience to work, but you have leadership experience right from college, or you have volunteer experience, most of the courses that Faithy listed are actually very relevant to development. Talk about what that experience did for you and what you can do extra after this set of skills that you're going to develop, and your broader long-term vision of the continent and your community. I think that is what will stand out, and try merge it to what Mastercard is looking for. I think Mastercard is basically looking for young people who are looking at community impact and transformative leadership. So any leadership experience will be relevant. Finally, just be confident in your experiences. I don't think Faithy and the team have a single success profile where they want this poster candidate who got A's, who is an amazing sportsman or whatever. They don't have that. And I believe it's a fair chance for everybody. So once you own your story, everything will work out. Mine is to just thank you for listening and wish you all the best as you pursue this journey. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Susan. That's very inspiring. Just to reiterate, Susan signed up for the postgraduate diploma, and after a couple of years, after her scholarship for the diploma had finished, she thought that she wants to advance to a master's, and so she's supporting herself to do a master's. And good job, Susan. That's really commendable. So just gonna talk you through the eligibility criteria and how to apply for the scholarship. So for you to apply for our scholarship, you must first check that you qualify academically for admission to the University of Edinburgh, specifically the program that you are applying to. One thing to emphasize is that as an applicant, please apply for Mastercard Foundation Scholarship only. And if you get the scholarship, you will then be invited to apply to your degree program. So on the scholarship form, you'll have a chance to choose the degree program you're interested in, and you also have a chance to explain why you are interested in that degree program. So our admissions colleagues will already have gone through to assess your interest, and by the time you are being successful for the scholarship, you will also be eligible to apply to your degree program. But if you're interested in other scholarships at the University of Edinburgh, let's say Commonwealth or Chevening, that require you to have an admission, then I would encourage you to apply for the degree program as well. But if it's only Mastercard Foundation, please apply to the scholarship only. So applications for next September have actually opened 2 days ago, and they'll close on the 21st of November. However, we have two stages in the application, stage 1 and stage 2. Stage 1 is the eligibility and declaration. So we need you to have completed stage 1 by the 14th of November. So 14th of November, 5 p.m., that's the last time you can accept new applications. And then for all those who have completed, they'll have 1 week to complete the main application, which will close on the 21st of November at 5 p.m. GMT. As part of the application, you are required to write down your referee details. And if you are successful for the scholarship, we will again reach out to your referee so they can send us your reference rather. I've spoken about the first two criteria, but just to emphasize again, we will need to have your degree certificate and final transcripts by the 21st of November. So by the deadline, we need to have these documents to consider an application complete. And then we are accepting applicants who are nationals and residents of African countries. So I'm aware, like we're all aware, that sometimes there are conflicts in different countries. So, for example, if you lived in Tanzania, for example, but then you moved to Uganda because of conflict, you're still eligible to apply for the scholarship. However, if let's say you moved from Afghanistan or Ukraine to Egypt, for example, then you will need to get in touch with us via our email and we can assess. And importantly, as an applicant, you should demonstrate a track record of leadership and show us you have potential for future leadership as well. In terms of who you're looking for, first is for someone who can thrive academically at the University of Edinburgh. We're looking for a transformative leader, particularly to the area of climate change and promoting sustainability. We're looking for young people who do not have any financial means to study without support at the University of Edinburgh. If you want to learn about the entry requirements to your degree program, this is the link, which again I'll share with you after the meeting. But you can go to this website and you will learn about the entry requirements for different countries. A question we get asked is whether you need to have an English language certificate before applying for the scholarship. This is a no, because if you are successful for the scholarship, the team is going to support you to sit for an English language test. So we do not need you to have an English language certificate, whether TOEFL or IELTS, before applying for the scholarship. And that'll be all from me and the team. So thank you very much for listening to us. We unfortunately are not able to take any questions, but I do have a couple of questions. One question for Ezekiel and Susan. So if you could just briefly respond to this question, and then we will bring the meeting to a close. We have a recording of the meeting, which we will be sharing with you later on. So Ezekiel, are you there?
Yes, Phoebe.
Could you just let us know just briefly, what would you have wanted to know before applying to the University of Edinburgh and the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship?
Wow, thank you. I think one thing that outright I would have wanted to know, and I was really even asking around, is basically how the mode of delivery is going to be like now that it is going to be an online. And just like some of the questions that you have answered, is it equivalent to the campus program when you're studying on campus? So that is one of the questions that I had. And additionally, I also had another question in regards to how am I going to do the exam and I'm studying online? So those are the two questions that I had. And as you have answered, at least I'm very, very happy with the way the two are being addressed. Thank you.
Thank you, Ezekiel. And a question for you, Susan, is, could you tell us just briefly, how are you managing, this, your study and then your work? How are you managing? How are you balancing all that?
Great. So like I mentioned, it's a self-paced study. So the course content is released every Friday at noon. So what I do is that I make it a weekend thing. I go through the course content over the weekend, and assignments have 1 month duration to complete. So, and they're released at the very beginning of the semester. So what happens is that I download the assignments early on. And then as I'm going through the content, I go through them with the assignment in mind. Then to avoid last minute, since everything is virtual, I do not upload assessments on last minute because, anything can happen and then you start panicking. So I at least give myself 1 week or a couple of days before the uploads. If I have any questions, I usually leave them on Teams and on email. Like I mentioned, the faculty is very responsive, and you can also leave them on the Learn platform. I've not had challenges balancing, but it's mainly because I plan early. The first semester, I almost got caught up with assessments and work. But since then, I've had to be very intentional about the plan. Every week is a new week. We run for about 10 weeks. So rather than revising for 6 weeks straight to do an assignment in the first assignment in the 6 weeks, I plan ahead and do week by week, such that by the time we are reading, there's what we call a reading week in the middle of the 10-week semester, the 6th week. It's also the time when you're supposed to be submitting the first assignment. So what I do during that time is just focus on the assessment. So it's doable, and no need to feel that you can't manage. It's definitely doable.
Thank you very much for your response. To everyone, thank you for joining. I hope you found that very helpful. If at all you have any concern that has not been covered in this information session or has not been covered by the information on our website, feel free to write to us at mcfsp@ed.ac.uk. We will be looking forward to receiving your application. Good luck.